Hey guys, how's it going? Uriel Kim here, New York Times bestselling author of the All-Day Energy Diet and the All-Day Fat Burning Diet and the All-Day Fat Burning Cookbook. In this video, I'm going to share with you 8 of my favorite superfoods that you should be eating on a daily basis. These superfoods are going to help you boost your energy, they're going to help you fend off disease and stay healthy, and they're going to help your body release stuck fat, which I'll explain what that is in just a moment. Now, you may have seen me on shows like the Dr. Oz show or the doctors spreading this important message that I'm about to share with you right here. I think it's important to understand that we're facing a big problem, and that problem is that most human beings, especially in the Western world, are simply not eating enough plant-based foods, specifically obviously vegetables and fruit. The recommendation nowadays is about 6 to 10 servings of vegetables and fruit. However, according to the CDC, which is the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, they found, based on a recent study, that 87% of Americans are not meeting those requirements. In fact, Americans are getting less than 1 cup of fruit per day and less than 1.5 cups of vegetables per day. That's essentially less than 3 servings of vegetables and fruit. So why is that a problem? Well, when we consider the big lifestyle diseases that now plague our society, heart disease, even though we spent billions of dollars trying to prevent this, it's still the #1 killer in America. Cancer, well, we all know where we're at with that. 1 in 2 men, 1 in 3 women, right? Not the greatest odds there. Obesity, type 2 diabetes, these are 4 of the leading diseases in the Western world, and they're all lifestyle related, which means that these are diseases that are self-imposed for the most part, right? Obviously there's environmental toxins and different factors, but the foods that we're eating are making us sick and fat. That's the reality, right? So what I wanna let you know about is that by getting more vegetables, specifically in fruit, into your body, you're gonna help bring more micronutrients into your body. These are the vitamins and minerals and phytonutrients that your body requires to thrive, not just survive, but to function at its height. And unless we're getting these micronutrients, then we're simply deficient, right? And most people are walking around deficient. In fact, as you can tell, I don't have any hair, and that's because when I was 17 years old, my body decided to attack myself, and I lost all of my hair in the space of 6 weeks. Why did that happen? Well, a large degree of that, eventually I found out 8 years later, was that my diet for 17 years was terrible. I was eating basically cereal and toast and chocolate milk, more or less, right? Very few fruits and vegetables. So not only was my body deficient in nutrients, but it also was intaking all sorts of foods that were really inflammatory, really problematic, and it sent my immune system into, to haywire mode. So anyways, the whole idea is that we want to get more vegetables in, more fruits in, because they are the foundation to better health. I don't know if you've ever come across a study that said eating more fruits and vegetables is bad for your health. We know we need to be eating more fruits and vegetables, but it's challenging. I'm going to share with you a really simple strategy in just a few minutes. But first, let's get into these superfoods. And just before we do, I want to lay one more important foundation for you. The reason we want to get more fruits and vegetables into our body, other than the micronutrients, is because they are highly alkalizing. Now, what does that mean? Think about it this way. When you eat food, it's metabolized and it's broken down into an acidic or alkaline residue. Alkaline foods are vegetables and fruit. Acidic foods end up being animal products, meats, cheese, dairy, and so forth, and a lot of the grains and seeds and nuts for the most part. So think about alkaline forming foods as the good guys and acid forming foods as the bad guys. Imagine we're kind of like, we've got this it's one of those like Michael Bay movies where it's like Independence Day, right? And all these aliens or the bad guys attacking our body, and that's what acid formings do if they're not held in check by the good guys, which are these alkaline forming foods. Why are alkaline forming foods so important? The reason is because your blood needs to be slightly alkaline in order for your body to function properly. If your blood becomes slightly acidic, that's when all sorts of stuff can go wrong, right? You have low energy, you can't get oxygen to your cells properly, all sorts of nasty stuff happens. In 1931, check this out, Dr. Otto Warburg was the first one to discover that cancer cells only can grow by fermenting sugar as their fuel source. What that means is that those cells are void, they're not getting the right oxygen, they're not getting enough oxygen, so they switch pathways to produce energy through sugar fermentation. So if our body is not getting enough oxygen, then we're setting ourselves up for a a bit of a disaster, right? So we want to be getting more foods that are alkaline into our body, and fruits and vegetables are the secret to doing that. So with that said, I'm going to share with you these 8 superfoods. And just as a blanket statement, they are all alkaline forming, which means that they're going to alkalize your body, and that's going to help you have more energy, improve your health, fend off disease. And the one more thing I should mention is they're gonna help release stuck fat. Now, stuck fat is a type of fat that your body holds onto because it's too acidic. If there's too much acid flowing through your body is very clever, it's very intelligent. It's not gonna have acid flowing through your veins and arteries because it's dangerous. So what does it do? It takes the acid out of the bloodstream, stores it in your fat cells. This becomes stuck fat, where basically it cannot move because your body is not safe enough to let it go. So it has to become more alkaline in terms of internally in your body before you can get rid of that acidic stuck fat. So by getting more alkaline foods in, you're able to do that much more effectively. So with that said, let's jump into these 8 superfoods. You ready? All right, number 1. Actually, the first 3 I'm gonna give you as just a blanket statement for the first 3, they've been found by a study at the University of Oregon to have the highest level of chlorophyll out of any foods on the planet. Now, why is chlorophyll important to you? Well, chlorophyll is a very alkalizing type of nutrient. It's the pigment that gives plants their green color. It's been shown to be a blood builder, a blood rejuvenator. It's literally a cleanser of your entire body. It is amazing. It has the exact same molecular structure as hemoglobin, which is that cool molecule that sits inside your red blood cells that delivers oxygen through your body. So a lot of really cool stuff here. So we want to get more chlorophyll in. It's very, very important. The first food that has one of the highest levels in the world of chlorophyll is chlorella. Chlorella, back in the 1960s, was proposed by NASA to be the single food that could end world hunger. Can you imagine that? Chlorella is literally like an algae, like a really deep green type of algae, and they thought that because it's so high in protein, almost 50% protein, along with a bunch of other amazing nutrients and vitamins and minerals, that it single-handedly could reduce world hunger. Now, for whatever reason, they didn't fully deploy that, and obviously we're still dealing with hunger issues nowadays, but chlorella is an amazing, complete food. And here's the thing, it's an amazing heavy metal chelator. So it detoxifies heavy metals out of your body. This is really important because heavy metals like mercury and lead, we know compromise thyroid function. So if you're having trouble losing weight, or if you have underactive thyroid stuff going on, like your cold hands and feet, you feel tired all the time, mercury and lead could be part of the problem. So by getting more chlorella into your body, you help your body just flush that stuff out and function more optimally. Now, another interesting study in combination with the next superfood I'm going to mention found, and this was actually a study in the journal of the World Journal of Gastroenterology in 2013, and a number of other studies since then have found that chlorella and this next superfood called spirulina have been shown to be very effective at treating hepatitis C virus. Hepatitis C is a liver disease. And how is that even possible that these 2 superfoods can help with that? Well, they found some amazingly statistically significant benefits of using chlorella and spirulina on a daily basis over the course of several weeks in people with hepatitis C. Why does that happen? Well, again, chlorella and spirulina had favorable effects on liver enzymes. So basically improving the function of your liver and decreasing certain enzymes that were problematic in the presence of more toxicity and chemicals. So this stuff is crazy, crazy effective. But the problem with chlorella is that you can't just really just drink it, right? Some people take capsules and tablets. You can mix it in water, but it doesn't taste good at all. But I'll show you a better alternative in just a few moments. So let's move to number 2. Our second superfood is spirulina. Spirulina is kind of like a sister food to chlorella. They kind of hang out at the clubs every now and then. But it's a blue-green algae. It's the highest source of protein in the world. 60% by weight is protein. It's also an amazing source of GLA, which is gamma linoleic acid, which is very, very helpful for hormone-related stuff. A lot of women with menopausal symptoms will turn to GLA sometimes for mitigating some of that. Very, very effective, and it's very, very good for your skin. Both chlorella and spirulina are also very high in vitamin C and vitamin A, which are also very important for your skin. If you want better looking skin, better collagen, more elasticity, they are super, super powerful for that. So chlorella and spirulina are the first two superfoods, highest sources of chlorophyll on the planet. Unfortunately, they taste like you're drinking the ocean. Okay. So I don't know many people who enjoy the taste of them, but I'll give you a more savory way of enjoying those in just a moment. Number three, the third superfood here is we're gonna come on land and leave the ocean for a second, and we're gonna look at barley grass. Barley grass is another huge, the third most prominent source of chlorophyll in the entire world of foods. Amazing, according to this study at the University of Oregon. Now, aside from all the amazing nutrients in barley grass, like it's 7 times richer than citrus fruit for vitamin C, 10 times more calcium than milk, gram for gram, and 5 times more iron than spinach. It's an amazing superfood. But beyond that, a study by the Institute of Preventive Medicine found that it actually doubles the repair of DNA. So your DNA is literally the information that builds your body, right? Like I think we know what DNA is. DNA gets damaged by X-rays, free radical damage, environmental toxins, and that compromises our ability to live a long, healthy life. Barley grass doubles the speed of DNA repair. So it's like, having an amazing contractor who does great work in half the time, which is pretty rare. So barley grass, you definitely want to be enjoying this on a regular basis. Okay, so the fourth superfood is alfalfa. So why would we want to use alfalfa? What the heck is alfalfa? Alfalfa is like those little sprouts that you see in the grocery store sometime in those little plastic containers. And alfalfa has, again, very high source of chlorophyll, which is kind of the foundation of pretty much all greens. Anything that's green is going to have a good amount of chlorophyll. The deeper the green, the more it will clean. Think of chlorophyll as this amazing cleaning person that's just going to like make everything better in your body. So alfalfa, great source of chlorophyll. It's also been shown to reduce arterial plaque, reduce LDL cholesterol, which is the bad type of cholesterol. It's also been shown to have very beneficial effects on insulin and glucose levels, which is very favorable for type 2 diabetics. Number 5, numero 5. We're gonna move out of the greens for a second and move into an adaptogenic herb / root vegetable called maca. Maca is an amazing, it's kind of like it looks like a beet, but it's not a beet. It's from Peru, high in the Andes Mountains, and the Incas, used it for thousands of years while they were the preeminent culture in that area. And nowadays, maca is used very, very commonly in a lot of different foods on the supplement side, as well as in different superfood concoctions, because it has amazing stress-busting benefits. The reason that happens is because it's known as an adaptogen, which basically means that it helps your body better deal with stress. It helps your body do what it's supposed to do better. Studies have shown that maca in women helps reduce a lot of hormonal related symptoms, especially for PMS and menopause. And in men, it's been shown to increase sexual performance, which is obviously a good thing, right guys? So maca is tremendous. And it's something that I think if you have any kind of fatigue issues, adrenal issues, hormone-related imbalances, definitely something you want to consider on a daily basis. So, number 6, I'm going to share with you one of the superfoods that has the highest ratings of antioxidants out of all foods on the planet. Before I tell you what that is, what are antioxidants and why are they important? So a couple moments ago, I talked about how our DNA becomes damaged from free radical damage and other sources of toxins and pollutants. Free radicals are basically, again, another form of bad guy. Antioxidants are another source of good guys. So antioxidants will go throughout your body and scavenge and neutralize all these free radicals that come in from, the wrong food choices, environmental toxins, pollutants and so forth. And the whole idea is that the less free radical damage we have inside of our body, the longer we're able to live and in better health. A lot of times you see people with really old looking skin. That's a free radical damage from the sun, from smoking, for instance, from the wrong food choices. Antioxidants help put all that stuff to the side. Usually people turn to, if we think about fruits and vegetables in general, fruits and vegetables are the greatest source of antioxidants. You're not going to find antioxidants from meat or milk. okay? Goji berries are one of the highest sources of antioxidants. They're number 2 from the research that I've seen, based on the USDA studies that I've seen. Cacao is number 1, which is kind of the active component in chocolate, but goji berry is very close. Goji berry comes from the Himalayas, from parts of Southeast, from China as well, and it's been used in Chinese medicine for over 3,000 years. So obviously what they're doing, you know, Chinese medicine, they kind of know what's going on. They've got some insights that a lot of us Westerners are not too clued into. So they've been using this for 3,000 years. Why? Well, it's very high in antioxidants. Also, very high in vitamin A. And vitamin A, this goji berry specifically, have been shown to be very beneficial for the skin, very beneficial for the health of your arteries, very beneficial for your eyesight as well. Vitamin A is a very, very important vitamin that, again, you're not really getting outside of eating fruits and vegetables, right? So it's really important to be getting a good amount of vitamin A, as well as every other vitamin and mineral that you would not really get if you're eating processed foods like most Americans and North Americans are. So goji berry is great. And here's the cool thing. Goji berry tastes really, really good. It's got a really nice, sweet flavor, and it's awesome. So if you like blueberries and blackberries and so forth, goji berries are a great addition to the diet. Again, you know, you can take them in powder form, mixed in water or in a smoothie, or you can have dried goji berries. Just make sure they're organic. And by default, all the foods that I'm talking about here, you want to make sure that they are organic. It's really important, okay? That's number 6. I've got 2 more for you, but these are kind of like spices. They're not so much like a superfood, and I'm going to share with you why they're important. So the 7th one is cinnamon. Cinnamon has been used and spoken about and studied for years, especially in the circles of diabetics, because we know that cinnamon has been shown to favorably manage and lower blood sugar, which is very important for those dealing with blood sugar issues. So one of the cool things, here's a cool little tip for you. If you want to reduce the glycemic load of a specific meal, let's say you're having oatmeal for breakfast, which is, by the way, not a great idea. And I've spoken about this in other places and other videos, but let's say you were having oatmeal for breakfast. One of the ways to reduce the amount of sugar impact of that oatmeal in the morning is to put cinnamon on the oatmeal. The cinnamon has been shown to reduce the glycemic load. It's going to reduce the sugar impact inside your body, and that's going to be really good because then your blood sugar levels aren't going to go all over the place, and you're not going to go on that up and down energy roller coaster and all that bad stuff that happens with that, okay? So cinnamon's amazing, plus it tastes amazing. So beautiful aroma, beautiful smell. Basically, in general, any kind of spice that you can see, you know, turmeric, saffron, all these different spices and herbs are going to have tremendous healing benefits. Cinnamon is one of my favorites because I think it's very applicable to most foods. We're not going to throw saffron into a smoothie, right? Maybe you would, but it would turn red and it would look a little bit weird and taste a little bit odd. But cinnamon's terrific. And the final superfood that I think we should be getting a little bit more of is vanilla. Vanilla is very similar to cinnamon in the sense that it smells amazing and it tastes amazing, but it's also got some really cool compounds known as vanilloids, which are basically small micronutrients, phytonutrients that have anti-inflammatory properties. And we know that inflammation, very much like acidosis or this buildup of acidity in the body, is at the root of most disease we know of. So we look at inflammation and acidity as very closely linked because they come from the same types of food sources. And when we can incorporate things like vanilla or any of these other foods that I've just mentioned into your diet, not only do they give you more alkalinity, but they're also anti-inflammatory. So they fight inflammation, which is very important because you don't want too much inflammation inside the body, because then that's like not a good thing to have happen, correct? So those are the 8 superfoods. They're absolutely amazing. The dilemma is like if you were to try to individually supplement with all of them, well, then you would have a counter full of stuff like this that you would have to measure and somehow get in on a daily basis. Plus, doing so would probably cost you several $100s just to get all those individual supplements in, or those superfoods. So would you like an easier, tastier way to do so? Okay, cool, I thought so. So what I'd like to introduce you to here is an amazing green superfood powder called Energy Greens. And this is something I developed in my very own kitchen about a few years ago. And I spent 4 months with these raw superfoods that I just mentioned. And I tinkered around. I said, okay, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Eventually, I cracked the code and had an amazing cocktail that I tested on my kids. That's right. I didn't put it out to the market. I didn't take it to a lab. I subjected my kids to this greens concoction because I knew if they approved, we would be onto something big. So I gave them a glass each. They drank it back. My kids are like, under 6 years old. So we're not talking about, we're talking about pretty thickly eaters here. They drank it, immediate thumbs up. They really enjoyed it because, the thing is when they drank it, they're like, one of those kind of like, this is good. I like that. And I knew that we were onto something pretty awesome. So so after that, we ran it through some beta testers and some of our customers, and the feedback was amazing. And since that time, we've helped thousands of customers all around the world. And taste is obviously very subjective, but when thousands of customers say this is the best tasting greens powder they've ever had, mixed in water alone, that's always pretty reassuring, right? So our energy greens are amazing. It's the world's healthiest and tastiest greens superfood mix to help you look and feel your best. So why is it the healthiest? Well, here's something you have to really understand. Let me just share a little story with you. So let's say I came over to your house and I were to mow your lawn if you've got a lawn out front. And then I were to take all those grass clippings, throw them in a blender, and let's just assume that the grass was like barley grass, like good grass that you could actually eat. And I threw all those grass clippings in a blender, pulverized them into a powder, and then threw them into water for you. Now, would that be very appetizing? Well, here's what would happen is you would drink it, and you'd be like, this is really gritty and it's not mixing very well, and I don't really enjoy this. And that's pretty much what most greens powders on the market are doing, is they're using a cheaper, lesser quality grass powder, which again, synonymous is mowing the lawn, throwing it into a blender, into a small powder. Now, the challenge with that is not only is it a cheaper process, but it's a cheaper finished product, which means that the beautiful thing about plant foods is that they're loaded with nutrients. The dilemma with plant foods is that those nutrients are locked within the fiber. And the best way to unlock that fiber is to juice the plants. So what we do with our energy greens is we harvest all those 8 superfoods at the height of nutrient density, but we don't just trim them and throw them in a blender. We harvest them, they're then juiced to extract the nutrients from the fiber, and then they are freeze-dried and turned into a small microscopic powder, which when it's mixed with water, emulsifies and mixes beautifully. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so through the magic of television, I've just been able to magically make a mason jar full of water appear, thank you. And I want to demonstrate how these greens mix beautifully into the water. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a scoop, pretty much that's all you need. There's actually 45 of these servings in this jar, which is nice. You're not getting a tiny amount. I'm going to just throw it into the water there. And you're going to notice that the greens already start to mix around. You're going to see that they're already starting to blend into the water. I'm literally going to give this a couple, just like that. Done. That wasn't a lot of stirring, was it? You can see it's a beautiful dark green, which means that it's rich in chlorophyll. It's rich in all the superfoods I've already spoken about. And if I could give this to you over the camera and you could taste it, you'd have that beautiful aroma of vanilla, cinnamon, a velvety smooth texture as it crosses your tongue. It's really quite special. So we use a higher quality processing, again, which is minimal. There's no heat. All the ingredients are preserved 100% raw. They are 100% USDA certified organic. And the barley grass I mentioned earlier is actually gluten-free in our blend. So how do we make it taste so good? Well, again, a lot of other greens powders on the market use stevia and some like weird minty flavors, or hopefully in some cases, well, unfortunately in some cases, they even use artificial sweeteners or things like monk fruit, which you don't really need to use. So how do we make our greens taste so good? How do we mask the fishiness of spirulina and chlorella? How do we make the chalky, bland taste of maca come to life in a much more palatable fashion? Well, remember those 3 ingredients we finished with? Vanilla, cinnamon, and goji berry? Well, those are the 3 secret weapons to bringing this greens to life in a way that you will look forward to drinking. I drink this 3 to 4 times a day in water alone. We also give you tons of great smoothie recipes that you can use with this greens, or that you can incorporate your greens into. It doesn't have an overpowering taste, which means you can use this very flexibly in a lot of different scenarios. We use them in smoothies, in water. You can use them with a vanilla or even a vanilla or chocolate protein. It's such a versatile greens. It's absolutely phenomenal. I'm really excited about this. Our customers are excited about this. We've had customers as young as 1.5 or 2 years old, all the way up to 90 years old, and everywhere in between. People who are starting to look and feel a lot better. Just enjoying the fact that they don't have to worry about juicing all the time, because here's the other dilemma. We know we're not getting enough fruits and vegetables into our diet. So what do? We can make smoothies, awesome. We can juice, great, but it takes a lot of time. There's a lot of produce, it costs a lot of money. And what do you do when you don't have the produce in your kitchen? Well, you're kind of stuck. So our energy greens, I'm not saying this is going to replace a healthy diet, because you should do your best to eat good quality foods, but this is going to help fill in the gaps. It's going to give you that convenient source of alkalinity, that nutrition when you're on the go, when you don't have stuff at home, when you're pinched for time. When you have that lull in energy, as we tell our customers, when your energy weans, drink your greens. Instead of starting your day with coffee, have a glass of greens. Mid-afternoon, after that kind of lunch lull, have your greens again. You will be flying high consistently, sustainably, not up and down roller coaster caffeine energy, but sustained, focused, productive energy all day long by nourishing your body with nutrients, not stimulants. And that's why we're so happy. We consider this the gateway to better health, because even if you're having a tough time eating well, even if you're trying to do your best, but it's just not working out for you, you want to start with something that's going to be super easy to do, super easy to use, no thinking required. Add a scoop, put it in water, drink it. Do that for a couple days and watch what happens. You're going to start feeling better. You're going to start looking better. You're going to have more mental clarity, less brain fog, fewer cravings. Studies have shown that chlorophyll can reduce cravings for sugar, chocolate, and salt by 81.2%. How does that happen? It affects, in a positive manner, our hunger hormones. So we don't crave food as much. So if you're having late night cravings, have this at night and watch what happens. So it's such a great way to really improve all aspects of your health by making a small, simple change. But just having a glass of this in the morning, it opens up the door to better decisions. You're gonna feel better and you're gonna make better choices. And as a result of making better choices, you're gonna do more good for yourself, and more good and more good and more good. Eventually, in the space of a couple weeks, you feel and look like a new person. And that's why we consider this the gateway to better health. We're on a mission to helping you and 100 million other people feel unstoppable. Because if you want to live a great life and you want to accomplish all your dreams and goals and be the best version of yourself, be the best spouse, partner, father, son, daughter, mother, grandmother, you have to have energy and you have to be in good health. You don't serve anyone by being sick and tired. And that's why we're so adamant about getting this into more people's hands. So if you want to grab yours, you can click on the button somewhere on this video. Should be a button somewhere over there. And you can pick yours up today. When you do, we've got some cool bonuses that we're gonna be sending you as well. And you can obviously get discounts for different bundles that you wanna grab. If you wanna grab 1, 3, or 6, totally up to you. We have savings for each of those. So I wanna thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to join me on this video. I hope these 8 superfoods have inspired you. And again, you don't have to go to the health food store and get each one individually. Just click on the link on this video and grab our energy greens today. They'll take care of that for you. And simply add 1 scoop of water on a daily basis, a couple times a day if you want even better results, and just watch what happens. You can thank me later, but for now, I want to thank you so much for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you on the healthier side.